Oh, here we are. Hi.
Ooh,
This
hey.
is
I just saw the recording thing click on. We were
yes.
talking before it kicked
I
on,
don't
but
like that. I don't like
no.
being confused like that. I'm
Neither
very
do I. Neither
confused
do
now.
I.
It's very
But
confusing.
anyway,
I
where
want to
are we?
say I don't want you to thank God we're not slapping anymore because I just don't know if I can take that
Oh
right
no,
now.
yeah, it's
The
very
slapping is
it's a very precarious time.
it's a bit much. It's a bit much.
I mean,
And
the storm didn't come,
the storm. What
so
happened?
I don't know. We didn't get a great awakening, so I'm a little on edge.
All right, how many of the QAnon people are like JFK Jr. could still come back from the dead at any minute now and help Trump take this?
Look, I'm against re-education camps,
Right.
except when it comes to those people.
Right.
They
That's it.
need to be deprogrammed and re-educated so they can function in society.
And it's not just us talking about that. There's Cody right there. Bam!
Hey, Cody!
Hey.
The Q of the Ramble himself.
He
Cody.
is the Q.
The Q of Ramble. Who, by the way, congratulations on Cody getting his first Sundance interview
I saw.
as a critic, which I think Eddie and I just need to take credit for that because had he not seen Cobra, I don't think he gets that invite.
Look, Cobra was the stone in the lake that caused the ripple that sent Cody to Sundance.
Yeah. I mean,
Who argues against it?
it was weird because when I asked for the interview, they said we have a list of 3 questions.
Yeah.
You know, give us your outlet. You know, where will this be video or print? And then have you seen Cobra?
Right.
And I was finally able to be like, you know what? Yeah, I have.
You're probably the only critic that could do that, that could say yes.
Yeah. I bet you had to angrily uncheck that box for years, Cody. Just depressingly.
I had been losing out on stuff for so
Yeah.
long, and then finally, I now
Not anymore.
You're in. And
Acclaimed
here
critic.
Acclaimed critic now, baby. We did it. And here we are, right here. Bam. Another Good Willow Hunting. 21. Now, we had to flip things because Cody couldn't get his hands on Vacation. So we're doing Uncle Buck first.
Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck, the John Hughes classic. And then we're jumping to Vacation. The movie which I guess now in the history books is most famous for catapulting Macaulay Culkin. I don't think he gets Home Alone without that, right?
No.
He kinda, him and the little girl steal the movie. Every scene there is, they're
that's little
hilarious.
Gabby Hoffman.
Yes, Gabby Hoffman. Him and Gabby Hoffman steal every scene they're in.
They steal.
I thought that was, but let's just get into it. I thought one of my favorite moments is when Buck is having the contentious talk with the older teenager. He drops her off. They have this big thing, and then you don't know that the 2 little kids are in the back seat. And then he has this whole conversation with them. I thought that was one of my more favorite scenes of Uncle Buck, the film where very realistic premise where the sister's father, the mother's father, has a heart attack.
Yeah.
And they can't find a sitter, so the brother has to regrettably call
His brother.
his brother, their Uncle Buck, and John Candy just being John Candy, and just a lot of fun to watch.
It's one of my favorite John Candy performances.
You could tell he was having a fun time doing this movie. It was,
And this, to me, this was one of the better. I'm not saying all of them are, but this is one of the better written John Candy movies.
Yeah, it was. It's John Hughes, man. That dude knows what he's doing. That guy knew how to make a good comedy.
Usually with John Candy parts, it was like John Candy was carrying doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the movies. But this movie was a good movie, and he made it better.
Yeah, I really think, you're right. I just, there's so many fun moments. But Cody, what are your thoughts? Let's get into what Cody thought of the John Hughes, John Candy vehicle.
Yeah, you know what? Interestingly enough, I think it's a lesser John Hughes movie for me. I was not super into it. Yeah,
I don't think it's up there with the like Pretty in Pink or 16 Candles stuff.
Well, my favorite is The Breakfast Club. That's my
Breakfast Club is a
the
masterpiece.
pinnacle for me. But
Breakfast Club is an all-timer.
Or Ferris Bueller is also up there for me too.
Yep.
You know, I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, is that because you think that those films sort of spoke to a generation of children or teenagers or young adults, whereas Uncle Buck doesn't speak to it's not a generational type film. It's not one you look back as like a seminal moment in your childhood watching that film and going,
right.
This
It's
spoke
not-
to me.
But I think that's to its detriment because I feel like the movie is somewhere in between like the adults slanting John Hughes stuff like Ferris Bueller or 16
Vacation.
Candles or Breakfast Club, those types of movies. And I mean adult being like older, even older teenagers and stuff. Whereas it's a mix of that and like kind of like a family movie, and I feel like it's stuck somewhere in between because it has, I think, some of the most broad humor that I've ever seen from John Hughes.
Yes.
But it also has like really adult jokes, like the stuff with John Candy and the washing machine, and
with
like
the neighbor. Yeah, when she comes in.
Like there's some really dirty sex jokes in there and stuff.
There really are.
And it just feels like a weird imbalance because I couldn't tell if it was wanting to cater towards families, adults, or somewhere in between. I like John Candy in it. I think John Candy is generally great. I don't think it's anything I haven't seen him do before. And I think that the thing that sticks out to me the most is that these types of movies follow a formula, and I think this didn't deviate from the formula whatsoever. You have the reluctant guy watching the kids,
right.
And then, one of the kids, sells him out in some way, and then the kid is going to end up,
the redemption and the
redemption becoming close to him.
And, He
and
kind of magically makes her a better daughter.
Yeah, I just found it formulaic.
It is interesting, though. It's like a John Hughes movie where a teenager is one of the main characters, but it's not really about the teenager for the first time. It's about Buck, and who I guess is, but in a way, it's like Buck is like
He's
what if Ferris Bueller were 40, right? If Judd Nelson were 40,
right.
Yeah, like 40-year-old Judd Nelson from Breakfast Club. This is what he probably is going to turn into,
right?
And that's kind of why I like about I will always love the scene where he beats the fuck out of the clown. It's so stupid, but it's so, and then of course and I was watching it with Andre, and I was like, I remember seeing it, but I don't remember. And then a lot of it came back to me like, oh, yeah. And, dude, another great visual is just John Candy at the elementary school urinal is just hilarious. It's so easy. It's such an easy joke, but he does it so well. And then the scene, and then you have another very formulaic scene where he that was the one thing I thought was kind of out of nowhere, is the scene where he dresses down the assistant principal of Gabby Hoffman, because there's no mention of this anywhere in the movie. There's no, she has trouble with her assistant principal. All of a sudden she's just a problem child, which you don't get that hint at all from her, really, that she'd be like a bad student. And then all of a sudden he has to magically go and repair, whatever, do some conference that was a scene I thought maybe something was cut for time that's what it feels like, that would have fleshed out. But I still love the way John Candy tells that little kid who said, don't worry, kid, I got this. That's here, let me go in first. He just shines in it because he's John Candy. It's just he was riding that wave of I
just love John Hughes movies, and I'm a mark for John Candy, and when you put them together, I'm looking at it through, I guess, maybe rose-colored glasses.
Yeah,
but I just enjoyed the fuck out of this movie.
Yeah, Uncle Buck has a...
But see, if I ever want that combo, there's no way I'd ever go Uncle Buck over Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
No, I wouldn't either. True. No,
right. No.
Yeah, that's John Candy's... That's his superior movie. That's the greatest John Candy movie. Is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That's the one. If someone's if you ask someone, hey, what was John Candy? Boom, you put on Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's it. That's your end of conversation, end of story. That's the one.
But this is up there with... this,
it's better than The Great Outdoors.
It's better than The Great Outdoors, which I still like that movie.
That one too.
People don't like that movie. I like that movie.
The Great, when he has to eat the steak. I like The Great Outdoors.
Good. So good. And the bear jumps on him.
The bear, but The Great Outdoors. Would you say it's probably that one, or Who's Harry Crumb might be his least great? I never saw the last one he did, the Canadian Bacon.
I didn't see Canadian Bacon either. I didn't see Canadian Bacon.
That one,
you guys didn't see Cool Runnings?
Cool Runnings
is good.
That's a good one. Cool Runnings.
I think Cool Runnings is good, but it's not classic John Candy. He's such a side character in that. It's more focused on those guys, but
it's what he was great was his cameo in JFK, where it wasn't funny. He was just he was. Did you see that? You ever seen JFK, Cody, the Oliver Stone?
I've seen pieces of it, but I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing.
There is a fantastic John Candy cameo, and it's straight. Like he plays it straight, and it's really fucking good. That was like, but yeah, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is the one where it's like he should have gotten nominated for this. Like
he really should have. He should have won an Oscar for that movie.
Fucking good in that movie. Just that heartbreaking at the end. Just that's come on. It's just
and to end a movie on that shot.
On that shot. Ooh. Fuck it, yeah. That was
into comedy on that shot.
Comedy, very ballsy, and but I did like. I'm with Eddie. I like how it covers enough. John Candy shines enough being John Candy.
Yeah,
that I really
and you get enough John Hughes in it to be a John Hughes movie.
So let me ask you this. So I think that you think that the writing is good, and that's fine. But if this was another actor other than John Candy, would this movie be successful? With the same script, but a different actor. Because I don't think so.
I think Bill Murray could pull that one off.
Pull it off. I think the writing is really good with the kids, with Gabby Hoffman and Macaulay Culkin. I thought all their dialogue was fucking hilarious. And, like, of course, they sold it really well. But I thought those two little kids were super funny. So I agree with Eddie on that. Like, that scene where him and Macaulay Culkin are doing the rapid fire shit back and forth. I think you could put any decent comedic actor, and it's just it kills. Like that scene works. I think with any.
I mean, I don't know if you have the large presence of John Candy makes it Uncle Buck,
right?
Because he just dominates the scene, every scene he's in, not just by performance wise, but physically dominates every scene he's in. So I don't know if if it's the same type of. I don't know if I like the movie as much if it's not John Candy, but I could see some other comedians playing that part.
Oliver Reed as Uncle Buck. Is it as good if Oliver Reed? Could you imagine? And we're like half dead gladiator Oliver Reed. We're like he's CGI'd from the waist up.
I'd watch it. I'd sit through it.
I'd be interested.
I'd be into it.
I'd be interested to see how that plays out. Like one thing that I didn't. I mean, look, I really like the movie, but one thing that I thought was kind of weird is how the boyfriend is an asshole bug, but it's never you don't really see he's a prick until the very end.
Yeah,
it just looks like just your typical goth late 80s high school kid, and then you don't find out till the very end that he's a creep, and it just seems like this weird when they torture him and all that. You're like, well, what? I mean, this seems odd. Like
it does. The ending is strange in that it essentially becomes John Candy trying to thwart a sexual assault, which is a little strange. That's the build up. The tone.
That is the build up to the flick. Is he's like it just. Which good that he does, of course.
Yeah, because you get the whole vibe. The whole vibe you get from the boyfriend. The whole movie is like Robert Downey Jr. in Weird Science. It's like he's a douche, but he's not dangerous.
He's not dangerous.
And then at the end, you're like, oh, he's a rapist.
Oh God, he's awful. Yeah, like that is just that was. I think to Cody's point, it might have maybe helped a little more if it was a little more fish out of water. For John Candy's kid, like maybe more of it at the high school party. Like, because that scene at the high school party is just visually hilarious. We're like a 6'2", 300-pound John Candy is just maneuvering through a bunch of 15-year-olds dancing. Like that is just a great, funny look in and of itself. Yeah. And I wonder if they could have used more of maybe not back to school like Dangerfield, but like if there had been more of that, like more of the fish out of water element.
That's an interesting point because one, I said that it is formulaic and I think that it is, but one thing it doesn't do, and I don't know if it's to its detriment or to its favor, is that he never really struggles with the kids. Like he's pretty competent at watching the kids. Like he doesn't know how to do laundry, but like
it's not like a Mr. Mom situation where he's like, I don't know what to do with this kid. It's yeah.
And he's actually a great babysitter, with the exception of the laundry. Like he makes Macaulay Culkin or Gabby Hoffman. He makes them those massive pancakes for their birthday. Like all the coolest shit you'd want your cool uncle to do. Yeah, the only real strife he has is with the already I'm checked out of this family teenager.
I also think the idea that he was like a degenerate gambler or he fixed horse races and stuff, I think that comes in way too late in the game because I don't think they ever introduce the fact that he fixes them until it's revealed by his girlfriend, like later on. She says something on a phone call, something like, "Are you going to go fix horse races again?" And you're like, "Wait, what? I thought he was just a gambler or something."
Yeah, that was a very. it makes me wonder if there must have been like a 2-hour cut of this,
like a darker Uncle Buck.
I was thinking that too. Film. Because and you know why I think that is because I think they also only hint at his alcoholism. Like it's only barely touched on. Right. You see him drinking a couple times.
Right.
It feels like somewhere in there's a darker version of this movie that they ended up, turning around and cutting. Yeah.
Could this have been like a dark comedy version of that Jeff Bridges movie Wild Heart or whatever, like where he forgets a kid at a mall and that's
or he kills the rapist at the end,
kills the rapist, like, oh shit, like. But I wonder if there was darker thing because it's never all is that because to me I was a little stunned when he finds the photo that the wife kind of creased him out of. She folded him out of the wedding picture. And you're like, well, why? Everybody likes him so far. Like, there's you have no reason, you have no frame of reference, because then it just makes her look like an asshole. Yeah, because it's like, so the guy doesn't have a house.
It was obviously, I'm sure that was reconstructed by the studio before they released it. I'm sure that's the final cut of John Hughes' final version of this is not what we see.
Right, because I think that, and it's a funny scene because that guy's a great scumbag, but when his buddy hits on the girl at the bowling alley, like there's probably more to that had they not, you know what I mean? Like had it not, who knows what they edited, but.
So I had asked the question of could Uncle Buck work with other actors, and I have a list of other actors that were considered for Uncle Buck before it went to John Candy. So here we go. Danny DeVito. I would say yes.
Maybe you could do that. I'm not out on that.
Tom Cruise. I don't think so.
Absolutely not.
Tom Cruise.
Absolutely not.
Robin Williams, which I would say yes, of course.
Yeah.
But he also did it with Mr. and Mrs. Doubtfire in some capacity. Yeah. Tom Hanks.
I could see that.
Tom Hanks can do anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks can do anything.
Jack Nicholson.
Oh my God.
That would have been a much darker film.
I bet Nicholson would have forced him to do the gambling. I guarantee you.
I wonder if John Candy forced them to clean it up.
I wonder.
It could be.
I wonder.
John Travolta. I don't think so.
No.
Oh God, it's about to get super funny. So Michael Keaton, I think maybe
he could have done it. Keaton could have done it.
Mr. Mom. Keaton was great in comedies before he became great in drama.
Yeah. Stall of Fame candidate George Wendt.
Oh, I could have seen that too.
I don't know. He's a TV, like he never had that film presence.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't know.
Chevy Chase.
He could have done it, but it would have been a different film.
Way different movie. Yeah.
Way different movie.
But
I think he could have done it in some respect.
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd could have done it too.
I could see that. Yeah.
My most recent Stall of Fame nominee.
Oh dear.
Has that aired yet, or that's on Friday? I can't reveal that.
Friday. Oh.
So there's one in there that's a Stall of Fame. Do you guys remember who my nominee was?
Oh, I'm gonna pull it up right now because I vaguely remember. I'm thinking of somebody, but I don't know if it's the right one.
I don't want to spoil.
It might have been. It was this upcoming one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Tomorrow's
Tomorrow's
Ramble Radio,
which is. Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And that actually makes perfect sense.
I could see that. The final two were Ed O'Neill and Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci, I think, could have done it. That would have been interesting. Ed O'Neill, maybe. Joe Pesci, I think, would have been because My Cousin Vinny proved he could do comedy, and that Buck character would be a guy who would have a little bit of his toe dipped in crime. Pesci, I think Pesci would have been. I would have loved to have seen that. Actually, I think it would be the most interesting out of all the ones.
It would have.
I would have loved to have seen Joe Pesci because I think he would have been really funny in that.
Thinking back of all the actors you just named, it's just like I talked about this earlier. Like the physical presence of John Candy is what makes me like that movie so much. It's just,
So George Wendt then, because he's the closest to the physical presence. I
right.
think.
But he's not the comedic actor, John Candy. He's a great comedic actor, but he's not on John Candy level. It's just so I just don't seeing those other guys. I'm trying to put them in that movie, and
the one we can't reveal probably would have been the
one
next
we
closest.
can't reveal. Hold on, I'm texting Eddie right now. Eddie, do you have your phone on you?
Yeah, I do. Text me.
All right, now Eddie, you can't say the name.
I won't say the name.
You can't spoil. But you're like, oh yeah, duh, no question.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
No question that works.
That one would have worked.
That one works.
But that one's probably the most similar to what we have.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pesci is the one that works with you're looking at a much different film, but I think it still works. Like I would have loved to. I really would have loved to have seen that Joe Pesci as Uncle Buck.
I would like to see Michael Keaton. I think Michael Keaton could have done that really well.
Could have done that too. Yeah, but but the thing is though,
there would have been more of an edge to it.
With Pesci, you almost have to go further into the dark, don't you?
With Pesci and Keaton and some of those others, there'd be more. Jack Nicholson, obviously, there'd be way more of an edge.
Wouldn't it be a comedy?
To the dark stuff, yeah.
Nicholson would. Oh man, that'd be wow. There we go. Look at that. So, Cody, what grade do you give John Hughes's Uncle Buck?
I would give it probably a B-. Just because of John Candy. Like I said, if I'm ranking all of the John Hughes movies I've for sure seen, it's at the bottom of the list, like the very bottom. And I would say I've seen most, but not all, of John Hughes stuff.
I'm a mark for. Did he direct 16 Candles or did he write it? I don't remember that.
He directed it.
That's the one I watched the most as a kid. So I think that's probably my favorite of his. And then Breakfast Club. It's those two are like neck and neck. But man, oh fuck. I'm gonna go A- because John Candy I could watch him play this kind of character all the time.
Yeah. A- for me too.
Yeah. A-, B-, Uncle Buck. And next week we stay on John Hughes writing and we keep John Candy as an actor. And we go to National Lampoon's Vacation. How exciting is that? I found out long ago. It's a long way down
that holiday road. Oh, speaking of holiday roads, we have we have a sponsor.
Sponsor.
We have a sponsor.
Thank you, Eddie.
That'll
We were gonna go all in and not mention this. Eddie saves the day here.
Well, we do have an official sponsor.
We do have an official sponsor of the Ramble, hempvita.com. They sell CBD products, and here's the best stuff. All of it, the tinctures, the gummies, the vape juice, the vape pods, the vape pens, the pet products, the lotions, which, do Eddie and I know a thing or two about the lotions, huh?
They are quite the lotions.
Buddy? Boy.
I got some pictures I could show the Ramblers of us putting lotion on each other.
Now, I don't want to make Cody jealous. But I'm gonna do it, Cody. I'm sorry. I know you. I don't want you to feel left out because you're all the way in San Antonio. But, boy, you haven't lived till Eddie Pence has put Hemp Vita lotion on you while playing that harmonica. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't even need hands to play the harmonica.
They all use broad spectrum CBD oil, no THC. What? I think Andrea just left me. You've been fucking Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Scotch Merritt.
This is what breaks you up.
Breaks it. I can't have a man.
Wow.
Put lotion on me while playing a harmonica. A man.
Wow.
All the combustibles, the flowers, the pre-rolls have less than 0.3%.
You deserve better, Jerry. You deserve better.
Thank you. I deserve better, Eddie said. Thank you, Eddie. Hemp Vita will only use industrial hemp grown in the where? Not here, motherfucker, in the USA. No more hacksaw. It's organic with Cody's top 5 hit. No GMOs. The CBD is legal, will not get you high. All of Hemp Vita's products meet the 2018 Farm Bill, which was signed into law December of 2018, legalizing hemp at the federal level and removing it from the federal list of controlled substances while classifying it as an agricultural commodity.
Was the 2018 Farm Bill the actual Great Awakening?
Yes, that
was the storm.
Yes,
they were just 2 years too late on it.
We look back on it and
that's the Great Awakening.
There would be no Joe Biden inauguration today.
That was the storm.
Yes, and if you think that's good enough, you enter Ramble for checkout and you get 15%.
What?
Bam! So go do it. Thank you, Cody. Where can all the folk find you?
You can find me at Cinesnob Cody on Twitter. Also, 3 podcasts: the Cinesnob Podcast, Re-MCU, and Quarantine Stream.
Woo, Eddie. Where can they find you, Eddie? Uh-oh, did we lose Eddie?
No, I'm here. What happened?
Oh, sorry.
Did we lose you?
No, where can all the fine folk find you?
5 days a week, patreon.com, The Ralph Report. And then Tuesdays, Fridays, Ramble Radio. Wednesdays, Ramble Proper. And then Thursdays, we got Good Willow Hunting. Next week, we're doing Vacation.
What a smorgasbord of entertainment.
So much content.
Every Monday, you can see me as a smug nerd on my social media with Eddie as my director. I also put up a new video on Thursdays on my YouTube channel talking video games. And then every night, I'm on twitch.tv/Retro Rocha, except Saturdays, playing a retro game. And then Mondays, Cody and I play football. Cody, so as Cody and I have it, your Super Bowl is going to be Packers and who was it, Cody? Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Packers,
Ooh,
Chiefs.
That could be the real Super Bowl. That could be the real Super Bowl.
Well, according to End, if anything is like our Tuesday night stream, it's going to be the greatest NFC Championship game you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Brady threw 8 picks, and the final score was Green Bay 44, Tampa 42. It was a crazy game.
Wow.
Crazy game.
Yeah.
Crazy game.
Interestingly coached on both sides, I think.
Interestingly coached on both sides. See, I think I pissed off Cody by being traditional football player. That's how I barely eked out the win, Eddie. I barely beat him because I threw out my go for it on 4th and 30 playbook.
So Cody prepped for the go for it, Jerry. And you rope-a-doped him with...
I rope-a-doped him with, like...
3 yards and a pile of dust, Jerry.
Right.
And a made field goal was the difference maker.
The made field goal.
Because Jerry actually took the points, and I didn't know what to do. I did not plan for this.
He's not going for it on 4th and 17. I don't know what's happening.
Aaron Rodgers completed 4 passes, and they were all touchdowns. But that was it. Everything else was shit. But he had 4 passes that were touchdowns.
And I think you had 2 pick sixes on me, too.
I had 2 pick sixes. One of them was a 2-point conversion pick six that I got.
Which was another difference maker.
Wow. That 2 points was the difference. Wow.
It was Cody, you were so pissed that you went and mopped up some dude online, didn't you?
Immediately after we finished, I was like, what happened to me? And so I went on Madden and I made a guy rage quit. So I was like, all right, I still got it.
Oh man, it was. But so and then I guess we'll play the Super Bowl Monday, huh, Cody?
Yeah, we got to.
We'll see if our prediction goes and if it's the same 2 teams. But
wow.
it was Green Bay and the Chiefs are what we're going to be looking at. So that's according to Cody and I. That's the Super Bowl. We'll know for a fact on Sunday. So there we go. Well, thank you all for tuning in. You know where to find us now. Come and find us. Please subscribe to us. Give us a 5-star rating, positive text review, all that good shit.
Yes.
Next week we're talking Vacation. Tomorrow we are bringing up new nominees for the Stall of Fame. That's I think very exciting. And oh man, it's gonna be February is gonna be tough. On the Ramblers and James who have to vote for this. It's going to be
not an easy one.
I don't want to be in their shoes. Do you, Eddie?
No, I don't. I didn't want to be in it last month.
Right. I don't want to be in it now. That's a tough one. So, all right, we love you guys. Stay safe. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow for Ramble Radio. Bye.